Alrighty, welcome back to Three Swords Gaming. We're going to continue our personal story playthrough. So our last video ended with us on the cliff right up here. We just glided down, actually, from the cliff down here because we're about to enter the next map through this portal. Or actually through, I guess, the start mission thing. Ah, a duck. Another duck. Ducks all over. And enter the islands to the north. So Poised Arrow has gone after Fading Aurora, the village shaman, who has gone on her own, once she found out about the Titans, gone on her own somewhere up here. And so we're going to try to help him hunt her down, because he's going to do this whether we go or not, so we might as well go and help him out and keep him out of trouble. And by the way, it does align with our mission of learning more about the Titans. So all this is kind of coming together and leads us into the next map. This is a really nice boat model, by the way. I like that. That is cool. Let's go. Stranger among lands, festering basin. Hey, that's a good loading screen. They really nailed the loading screens.
As far inland as we can get. We'll have to continue on foot.
Have you been here before?
A few times, but never without Ma or Grandma.
What about Stoic Alder?
He wouldn't bring me. No. Doesn't think it's safe.
I mean, is it safe to assume it's not safe? Ooh. Use safe two different ways in the same sentence. Unfortunate. Alright, look, somebody's been wrecking some Titans. Let's take a look.
We follow those. I bet we'll find Fading Aurora.
I mean, checks out, I guess. Alright, let's put our war claws to use because that's the thing in this expansion, right? Oh, she didn't kill all of them. Look at that.
Strangers ahead. We'll fight through them.
Careful,
Okay.
Cub. This isn't a race.
Bam! Time to do some real damage.
So the Titans spawn do this really weird thing. Some of them where they jump away or dash away from the fight. Sometimes it's kind of bizarre. Something about one of their attacks that causes them to like scoot, kind of, and then you end up like, oh, now I'm no longer like that right there. It doesn't damage you because they're out of your range by the time they complete the attack, but it makes melee against these guys like really frustrating and weird. That move, on the other hand, can be devastating if you're not paying attention.
Drawn to the carnage.
Or, well, devastating might be a bit of an exaggeration. It can be problematic. Should we say problematic?
I hope your friend is alive.
Rando spider. Should we fight the spider? Let's see, let's go this way. Ah, more of them. So I do think in terms of the terrain, in terms of...
Wait.
Oh.
There.
Hold that thought.
Fading Aurora. Come
Where?
on.
What did he see that I don't see? Ah. So I think they did a fantastic job with like how this map looks and feels. There's some things about the map I don't love.
Bestial nature flickers dull without air. I am Greer, and you are small.
Aurora, we came to help. Let's kill this thing and go home. Please.
My boy, you need to get out of here.
More moths to flame, sizzling with melancholy as they reach my ember.
Man, Greer is such an edgelord.
You all need to listen to me. We need to clear the spawn and debris from the area. Right now, he holds control of this environment. If we can balance the odds,
Feel the fury.
overwhelm him. Just enough. Pokey, do you have my suits?
never leave home without him.
Fascinating through dedication to dying plots. I will turn this swamp to rot.
Okay, so there is, oh. I should pay better attention to what I'm doing. Get me up, Pokey. This does kind of closely parallel, like, what happens in the world event as well. Or the world boss, or whatever you want to call it. Where you got to clear some of the ads and so forth. There's a huge, I don't want to say discrepancy. What's the right word? There's opinions about the world event vary based on experience. So there are folks that feel that it's not fun because it feels like a slog. And then there are folks that feel that it's too easy. So the variation between the types of Guild Wars 2 players based on how they play continues to become more and more pronounced. I'm actually at the point now, to be quite honest, this is a different conversation, kind of irrelevant to the expansion. The expansion just highlights it once again, as did like the Eparch fight and other stuff. I really believe Guild Wars 2 is now at the point where the two, well, there are probably multiple types of players, but the quote unquote hardcore players and the quote unquote casual players are so far apart in this game right now that it is to the detriment of the game. It's gone from being like something that every MMO experiences to probably being problematic for the game. Particularly because like the creator community tends to be largely dominated by hardcore players, and that's not weird because most content creators have the time to create content, probably have the time to play quite a bit more, and probably aren't doing like just the story each release. None of that particularly bothers me. I don't resent any of them in any way or anything like that, but I do think it should be noted there is significant gap between... Oh, she actually went down. Should we get her back up? Get up, you. But I do have concerns about like kind of what it means for like when they create like world bosses and stuff. When they created a world boss, they tried to find good balance, and instead what they have is a portion of the player base saying that it sucks, it doesn't feel good, and then a portion of the player base saying, it sucks because it's too easy. And they kind of ran into that with Eparch as well. I did not enjoy Eparch at all. I thought it was terrible. I thought that was an awful meta event or world boss or whatever you want to call it. I tried it a few times, and it was so unfun for me that I will probably never try it again. And then we have, the flip side of that. Oh, we got to get the seeds from... Is this Pokey? All right. So we heard Fading Aurora ask Pokey about seeds. He said he never leaves home without them. Now he's got them right here. I'm waiting for the thing where it tells us. Oh, we can't yet because somewhere there's still one Titan spawn running around. There it is. It doesn't have the marker. Now it has the marker. Didn't appear on the map. Unfortunate. Okay.
Pounded into dust.
It's done. What now, Aurora?
Plant the seeds throughout the swamp. I'll warn you, they're very magical.
So, yes.
Watch out for his spawn.
Worth
Don't
noting,
get away.
maybe a little bit of a spoiler here. This is a culture that apparently we've been told has like a real aversion to magic. But did we notice like the incredible amount of magic that she is currently using? Like, and of course, because they want to highlight, things from this expansion, she's using like elementalist spear skills, right? Are we gonna have to clear some of these ads? I feel like we might want to clear some of these ads just to make this kind of more of a more tenable. There is an achievement for not like losing any of the seeds, because if they hit you, or if something else hits you, like if you get disrupted while you're running around with a seed, then then you have to go get another one. Like, you lose that seed, essentially. You know, that's something they do relatively often in Guild Wars 2 is, you know, while you're performing a task, you can't get interrupted in that task, or you have to kind of restart it. And they do that here with these seeds. And of course, some of these we have to get all the way on the other side of, what's his name, Greer. But they give us 2 skills. They give us a dash skill, and then they give us a, like, cradle seed, which is like don't fumble the football kind of thing. So we have those available to us to kind of help us. These attacks, if I remember correctly, will also cause us to fumble the football. I did not get the achievement on my first playthrough on my main account. I don't know that I'm going to replay the instance just to get the achievement. I don't know that I care that much. We will try to get it here if we can. If we do not get it, I don't really care. But, we'll see what happens. So I will say this fight, as a fight, tends to feel quite long. But I don't recall, you know, on my first playthrough, I don't recall it feeling bad. Because enough of this is, like, relatively interesting that,
Aurora, it's working.
So sweet is the honey on your lips, just before his talons catch victory by the throat.
like I said, such an edgelord. Oh, is Pokey down?
Calm your tantrum. We have a score to settle.
Sweet is this.
Alright.
I'm speaking to you. Look at me. Last warning. Very well.
Oh, that's pretty cool, right?
I will explain.
Who? What are you?
Time to do some real damage. Rip him up! I'll break you down! Hurts, doesn't it? Time to do some real damage.
Alright, yes, so we have now identified that Fading Aurora is Waiting Sorrow, right? The commander just blurted that out just now, presumably for the benefit of the player to realize what the commander has apparently realized. You know, they want, you know, all that to kind of come together for everyone. So we have found our missing bear, which I guess is a good thing. One of the indicators that I guess could have been there from the get-go is, as I pointed out when we enter this fight, the bear, who came from a clan of bears that, you know, should we say eschewed magic? You know, they were not fans. And yet she is using a ton of magic, right? All these fancy skills here. So that might have been an indicator for us. But now we know, because the commander has said it, that this is
Feel the fury.
Waiting Sorrow.
Choking on the weight of my own dejection.
It is done.
Alright, he appears to be dead. Right? Am I wrong? Hey, buddy. Yeah. Waiting Sorrow. And now we see also, literally, the name Waiting Sorrow has replaced Fading Aurora.
I don't know about the rest of you, but I've got a burning question or two.
I wouldn't get too close. Not until we have answers.
Who are you?
Pokey, I will not hurt you.
Don't call me that. That's what my ma called me. Who are you?
I am Waiting Sorrow.
Not some healer from the Shiver Peaks, I take it. I can practically feel the magic dripping from your paws.
I am not. I'm...
A rogue wizard. The Astral Ward is looking for you, Waiting Sorrow.
The moment they called you Wayfinder, I assumed your mission was to hunt me down.
Hunt is a strong word.
What fables did he tell you of me? That I take children and siphon their young magic?
Only that I'm to assume you're dangerous.
I helped you kill the beast, didn't I? If I was going to harm any of you, my hands would already be cleaned of it. Poised arrow. I'm sorry. I can explain everything. I just need you to give me some time before we tell anyone.
You don't want my paw to know.
It's not the right time.
And I still have a few questions myself.
With time.
Lots of time being asked for. Couple quick things here. You see those claw things that she's wearing on her hands? Those are actually a dagger skin. We get, is it the end of this instance or is it later? But we're gonna get that dagger skin at some point. Kind of cool. I like that they added like glove dagger skins. They don't have an unarmed combat thing in Guild Wars 2. The closest you can get is like a weapon skin that appears, whether it's a torch or a focus or now a dagger. That, you know, a weapon skin that appears to be like a glove, right? And so we get that from Waiting Sorrow. But that's a non-story thing, so we could talk about the story things. So definitely, you know, lots of magic, which Poised Arrow made the observation of. So we did see that there was a degree of chemistry between Poised Arrow's dad, Stoic Alder, and Fading Aurora, who's now we know as Waiting Sorrow. And so certainly, you know, I think we're meant to perceive that exacerbates this angst that Poised Arrow is experiencing, because Fading Aurora was apparently, you know, in one way or another, like relatively close to the family. But also of note, and I think probably for me the most significant thing that comes out of this encounter and the dialogue here at the end of it is Waiting Sorrow was like, you know, what did Isgarans tell of me? And then she says kind of like the worst possible thing that you can imagine, you know, as far as like sacrificing kids for their magic or something like that, which leads me to ask two questions. One, clearly, like, what is the deal with Isgaran that she assumes that Isgaran would say those kind of things? Like, clearly she has massive distrust of Isgaran, I mean. Or two, does she actually have like a super dark history that we're gonna have to confront at some point? You know, was there something involving the death of kids, and that's why she's saying that? Like, and maybe it was an accidental thing, or there's more to it than, you know, she didn't sacrifice them. Like, it's a more complex thing, but that there is something like that in her past. Like, those are to me kind of the two possibilities. One, Isgarn is that untrustworthy, or two, she has that dark of a past. And I think maybe that's reinforced by like Malice's reaction. What does Malice say? Kind of questioning whether or not we should even be like that close. Malice says, "I don't know about the rest of you, but I've got a burning." Oh wait, maybe it was not. Oh no, it was the commander. I wouldn't get too close, not until we get answers. So even the commander's behavior, that swarm is driving me nuts. Even the commander's behavior, like, is suggestive of the fact that Waiting Sorrow is dangerous, and it's so weird to me because they never do a very good job of introducing an idea on why Waiting Sorrow is dangerous. We just get it from his guard, and then we just run with it the whole time. Poor Pokey over here. Look at this. He's really upset. I do like the bit of dialogue where Poised Arrow says, you know, don't call me Pokey. We do tend to be very sensitive about like names and how people use names and nicknames and stuff like that, don't we? Most people, I think, do. So I thought that was, a deft little bit of writing there. Poised Arrow, you're so not yeah, you're sad, buddy. What's up?
Are you okay?
I feel sick. My gut is turning and my arms won't still. I don't know what to think. I need to count the trees and mull it over.
Are you going to tell your father? I wouldn't blame you if you did.
I want to. I don't know if I should. I'll think about it. My ma taught me to step away when a hunt became too taxing. My thoughts and tongue aren't aligned.
Wise advice. Take as long as you need. I'll keep an eye on her.
Yeah, they're getting some research camps set up nearby. I'll be there. Gonna take a walk.
Is this the place to take a walk, Pokey? Like, haven't we... What? Alright, bye, buddy. Best of luck. Let's see, he's headed to the north. What's to the north? Oh, nothing good. Alright, well, best of luck, I guess. Alright, Waiting Sorrow. Why do these swarms keep coming back? Super annoying. I guess that's what swarms actually do, don't they? What's up?
Where is he going?
To think. If I just learned that my mentor was wanted for ambiguous transgressions, I'd be on the fence too.
Yeah, ambiguous is
I
right.
left a note. Ren should have known I meant no harm.
If you're talking about Iskarin, I think we both know better than to assume he's rational.
What do you suggest then? Shall you haul me back to Omnitas? Paws and chains?
Do Titans still roam the Isles? Can we count this battle fought?
Iskarin said to expect numbers, even if those numbers are low.
The earth here rumbles. I wouldn't blink if another stranger still walked upon these lands. The tendrils of my power reach outward, but the mistburn is disrupting my senses.
Mistburn? Does that have something to do with the Titans?
In part. Energy radiates from the mists. I expect wherever our Titan came from, it was steeped in it. It bleeds into our realm.
Not a single dull blade in the armory. So, what are we going to do with you?
Well, I'm not in chains yet. Why don't you tell me? If you don't tell the ward, I will not flee. Let us deal with them later.
I don't know the stakes under which you were advised to track her down, but she did help us kill the thing.
I've carried enough secrets in my pocket to know how burdensome that weight can be.
Then let me offer this. I will return to them, but only when I know my kin are secured from immediate danger. Let me roam on my own terms until then. I've only just adjusted to life without Iskarin's shackling gaze.
I suppose I've made more questionable choices. What's one more?
I haven't fought like that in a few decades. Maintaining a facade absent magic has left my flame flickering and, delicate. Will you make sure Pokey is well while I recover?
We'll tend to the cub, but don't get any ideas.
Impossible.
Alright, I got mixed feelings about some of this, because of course I do. Oh no, we don't get those gloves yet. But we do get a mini Waiting Sorrow. I love my minis. So, the commander in, this is all, classic commander. And I don't like a lot of the classic commander things. And I've mentioned them plenty of times before. Here's two of the things that I don't like. One, the commander assuming that they have everything, from, a martial point of view. The commander is always willing to fight everybody. Commander's like, oh, don't get any ideas. And I can remember us doing that with Kaith and others in the past. Hey, Commander, I'm under the impression, based on everything that just happened, you're not in a position to just take Waiting Sorrow by force anyway. I'm not under that impression. So I don't necessarily appreciate them giving the commander like a dialogue that suggests the commander feels that way, it really, and maybe that's just me, and maybe I'm even inserting headcanon here, but am I like the only person who's like, hey, like that doesn't jive? And then I also don't like the commander's thing where the commander's like, well, I've made more questionable decisions. The commander has made a heap of questionable decisions, and this probably isn't even one of them. This does not feel particularly egregious in any way, shape, or form. So I don't know why we're like couching it like, oh, well, I'm really bending the rules here. The commander's done so many stupid things. This doesn't move the needle, man. Keith, what you want to say something?
Commander, you're far more versed on the astral ward than we are. But you might owe us a bit of an explanation.
I absolutely
Not your
do
mess.
not.
It's hardly mine. I don't want to put you two in a tough spot.
Please, you're traveling with the Imperator of the Ash Legion and a thief turned diplomat. We can do covert.
With all the intel we've gathered so far, probably not far behind with our own assessments.
Okay. When I met with Frode back at Moon Camp, he told me to keep an eye out for their missing wizard. I've heard the name, but not much else. She left the Astral Ward on uncertain terms, which makes Iskarin nervous.
Iskarin makes me nervous. Should we be afraid of her?
Maybe caution over fear. Didn't strike me as dangerous when she threw herself in front of Pokey.
We can do cautious, Commander.
Far as I know, she helped us fight that thing. Hell of a lot more than Iskarin has done here.
Yeah, Malice seems to be like so much, like, way more grounded than than anyone else. Kate's suggesting that we owe her. You know what? I think we're done here. Yeah, we're done. Okay, cool. Kate's suggestion that we owe her something is like absolutely preposterous, like really preposterous. However,
We need to make sure the area is secure from the mistburned.
I find Malice's approach to be like a little bit more reasonable. All right, so the meta appears to be happening right now, or the world boss, or whatever terminology we're using for that today. We're not going to go do it. I've tried it once. I did not particularly enjoy it. Undoubtedly, I'll try it a few more times before I give up on it, or learn to embrace it, either one. But in fairness, as I learned to embrace Dragon's End, and I did, never learned to embrace Eparch. That's for damn sure. I might warm up to this one, but I don't feel like giving it another go right now, so we're not going to do that. We are going to come over here and speak with Stoic Alder, because that's the next thing we got lined up for our story playthrough. Here he is, and this is our little camp. What's it called? Forager's Hunt, in the old Hutment site. Is Hutment a word? The old Hutment site here on Janthir Century. And of course, the previous stuff that we had going on took place down here. This is where Greer is, by the way. This is Greer right here. So the fact that this is happening is a spoiler for the story. Unfortunate. But yeah, so Greer is down here. High on catnip is fighting Greer. I wonder if High on catnip is as much of an edgelord as Greer is. Jeez. Now, I did find the way they married adjectives, verbs, and nouns with Greer's speech to be very interesting, because not only did they make him like an 8th grade emo, but also like the adjectives did not work, or the adverbs did not work with the verbs, the adjectives did not work with the nouns and verbs didn't marry up. Like, it was like really, really bad poetry from a middle schooler. And while I think it was, for me, it sounds exceptionally stupid, it was also really interesting that is clearly by design. It is not accidental. Look how pretty this char is. All right. Stoic Alder, you are like watching. You know what we call? That's a well done character. It's like they're way into the night RP here. You know what we call just sitting around watching a fire in the army? We call it Ranger TV. Stoic Alder, how's the Ranger TV?
Stoic Alder?
If you're looking for Poised Arrow, he's not here. Your scuffle with the stranger left his mind raw. I don't know what seen him so heavy with angst since Silken Weir left us.
I can explain.
After the mainland attack, his nerve was turbulent. He said you were left with little choice. My son survived. Your friends survived. I don't need to mourn what didn't come to fruition.
The creature that killed your kin is dead. Turned my stomach.
Another sunset. Did you find Aurora? Pokey didn't say.
She wasn't with the dead. A good sign, but we'll keep looking.
We'll settle camp and assess. Our forebears built sites across the Isle. Way stations, constructed after the Masat fell. Isgaren's warning hasn't escaped me. If a Titan lives, we'll find it. You can tell your alliance that. Wayfinder, my son, is Pokey okay?
Was that his first fight? Against something of that scale?
Of that scale, no. With distance and time, he'll come back to us with a clear head. Oh, I think Graced by Fire was looking for you and your allies. Probably wants to thank you.
Alright, so as you recall, Graced by Fire was the one that we saved from, like, the champion level Titan, or Titan spawn, or whatever. Why do we, like, straight up lie to Stoic Alder about whether or not we found Fading Aurora? Or Waiting Sorrow. Same person. Why do we lie about that? Like, that is an unnecessary lie. Like, let me tell you, it makes no sense to lie unnecessarily if you're trying to keep people from knowing something. Only lie where it's absolutely critical. Keep your lie simple. Like, the commander's stupid. There was no reason to tell that extra lie. Our hair looks white in this light. Very interesting. That is really, really dumb. And that I do absolutely categorize as poor writing. There's been very little poor writing in this expansion. I think overall they've done a pretty good job. I don't understand that, though, at all. Like, why is the commander an idiot? They always write the commander to be really, really stupid. Whoever at ArenaNet is, like, in charge of... And from what I understand, they don't do it this way. They don't have, like, a writing team where it's like, okay, you're the commander, you're Ritlock, you're... apparently, they collaborate on all of the things that all the characters say, and it's group... it's a group process for all of it. And I guess that's the industry norms. I don't know much about how they write narrative for video games. It's not how I would do it. I would have a writer who is Ritlock. I would have a writer who is the commander. Obviously, the commander would be your busiest writer. Some of the others, it would probably be their second job behind, like asset design or something. But then again, like, I don't run a video game studio, so I don't know. What I do know is the commander is consistently stupid throughout the Guild Wars 2 story, and is one of the worst characters. Commander's literally right there with, like, Bram and Kaith is one of the worst characters. And that is terrible, right? Because that's the character I play. There's so many characters that are better. Stoic Alder's better. Alright, so let's go talk to Graced by Fire. This is the spear that we'll work on once we're done with this portion of the story. That is the spear that you get with the quest that's available in the Wizard's Vault. It is pretty nifty. And let's see, is he wearing the glove as well? I assume he's... Oh, man, ran off. Okay. There's a glove that comes with it, and so you get the glove and the spear. Anyway, Graced by Fire.
On your feet again so soon after the attack? Kaith might have something to say about that.
Rest is for a calm soul. If I sit for long, I'll turn into a cub with a gut full of honey. I also heard the news. You killed it? The stranger?
We did. Just glad we got the boy out of there alive. That thing was... you know.
If my companions saw what that creature left behind, they'd be mortified. Spent their lives learning this land, protecting it. I'm relieved Pokey is okay now.
Me too. But until we know what's left to fight, may as well find our footing. How can I help you stay seated? You need rest.
If you're offering, I could use a scout. Wilderness abounds. Only a few of us have spent any real time on the isle. With the Astral Ward and Bearkin moving inland, your help charting the area would benefit everyone. I've also observed troubling behavior among the local wildlife. Frenzied, enraged. Creatures that don't usually attack. But that can be our problem next. But once you're done charting, come back to me.
Okay, so we have a little bit of like a busy work phase in the story. It's not as egregious. They did. I want to give credit where credit's due. They could have just. They could have just done the green bar thing, and they did not just do the green bar thing. Instead, they gave us like these tasks that are actual like tangible tasks. I'm gonna die because I jumped right into just a storm of conditions there. This event seems to fail like every time I do it, because these bears also like just bathe in all these conditions, and the bears, once they're dead, this event fails. Why is that important? Because this event is one of the best ways to advance the heart. The heart, this particular heart, which we will need later for the story, is only advanced through events. And this event is one of the best ways to do that, and yet the event is scaled kind of weird to where it fails more often than not. And I don't know what the deal is with that, so get this dude up. And it's probably going to happen again. We're probably going to fail here in a minute. Especially because I can't... Yep, there we go.
Leaving nothing behind except the smells of death.
Oh well.
Feel the fury.
And look what that got us. It got us 1/15 of our heart. That's great. So this is dialogue actually related to the world boss. Did they succeed? Are there like chests over here? Doesn't look like it. Did they fail? Looks like they failed. I haven't seen one succeed yet, but you know, according to some like content creators, it's so easy that you literally can't fail. So I don't know. All right.
Is it just me, or am I amazed?
Huh. I never had that achievement on this account. All right. Well, good for us. All right, so we're going to take our War Claw. We're going to look at all these clues. What was I saying before that event started? They could have just done more green bars. God knows they love green bars so much, it would have been the easiest thing for them. But they didn't do that. Instead, they gave us like specific things to go look at, specific tasks. And I really want to give the ArenaNet credit for that, because it makes the busy work phase. Now, they deliberately insert busy work phases into the story to make the story last longer. So that people are, you know, it takes them a 12-hour day to finish, you know, or a 16-hour day to finish everything instead of, you know, an 8-hour day. That's very much what they do and why they do it. And they're not even wrong to do it. Like, you got to do something to stretch it out a little bit, because, you know, as soon as it releases, folks are going to hop on Twitch and they're going to, you know, try and 100% the game on that playthrough. So, which is good for, it's good Twitch. Like, that's, you know, it's good content, I guess. It just isn't good for the game. So how do they combat that? By putting busy work type stuff into the game. And that's what this is. But at least they created busy work that has like some kind of like tangible, you know, it feels better than green bar.
Bloodstone is morphing with the environment. Can't be good.
And here we get lore things during this process too. Commander actually says things, we observe things, it's relevant to the story, so that's all good too. So we see that, as the commander said, the bloodstone is like morphing into the environment. We see a tree and a bloodstone like almost like integrated here. This is, in fact, this point of interest is called the first blood tree. If I remember correctly, there's like 3 of them, maybe? I think there's 3. We'll see. We'll probably see all 3 of them as we run around here. Let's look at some of the other points of interest. I really should be like grabbing some of these herbs and stuff, but at the same time, maybe I shouldn't be, because this is probably like some of the least interesting stuff aside from finishing hearts. So that heart that we're still going to need to do later in the story, that is a case where I'm absolutely going to like cut the video because it is such an awful heart to do. And in fact, the heart that we're currently in the area of is also pretty bad. So there's two. It's not as bad as that one though, but it is pretty bad. So there's two really like two hearts that just feel like super time consuming. They don't feel good on this map. But one of them is for me like one of the worst ones in the whole game. I was actually thinking earlier today, like, what are some of the hearts? What are some of the worst ones across the entire game? Because I do think they have progressively, from core to season 3 to season 4 to,
I put a couple copper on Greer being responsible for this. He turned the place into a swamp.
All right. They've gotten more and more and more laborious to finish, to where nobody seems to care that much that one heart that I'm complaining about can easily take people over half an hour to complete. I want someone to ask ArenaNet the question. I'm not going to do it because I have no desire to be anywhere near the forums or the subreddit, but I would love for someone to ask them, like, is that the amount of time you want people taking on hearts? And maybe the answer is yes. And I guess if the answer is yes, they succeeded. I think it's awful, but maybe it's exactly what they wanted. All right, so obviously we're not using Warclaw to look around at these different things because... or am I going to have to use Warclaw here? Oh, is it underneath? It's underneath. I forgot about that. And instead I come over here to try and get this. There's a bunch of bad guys. We won't do that right now. So I have been on my main account. I've been gathering the hell out of all the resources on this map. The ore and the amber and stuff. I assume we're going to need it in spades for something, but I don't know what yet.
Serene. Bet this place would be pretty nice if it had a kinder history.
It's actually weird that you don't see people on their skiffs down here, because this would be, like, a great spot to just, like, kick it on your skiff, right? Like, maybe I should go AFK down here sometime and just, you know, chill. Chill on my skiff down here. I thought I had skiff skins on this account. Do I not have any? Maybe those gems I got from the deluxe I'll use to buy a skiff skin at some point. I wonder if there are any of them for sale right now. Who knows? Alright. We got a few more of these things to look at. Now, I feel like you only ever see those shoulders on Char and Norn. I'm not saying it's a bad fashion choice. I'm just saying it's ugly. Only ever on Char and Norn, I swear. You ever seen a Sylvari with those shoulders? Never.
More wilds. Starting to internalize everyone's warnings.
Why did it take you seeing Wilderness to, like, do that, Commander? Like, you didn't take people seriously at first? Like, you needed to come out here and, like... I mean, I know plenty of people who are like that. It's just, I consider it a negative trait in all those people. But that would be consistent with the Commander we know. So, alrighty. Eager Elm. So that's pretty cool. Look at how that spire like goes all the way up into the sky there. Pretty cool. Oh, I thought I was gonna land on that. Can I? I kind of wanted to get up there. Pretty awesome. Man. You know, even if they don't nail the map design every time in terms of, like, the map being what we want it to be, they are really good at making cool looking stuff. And in fairness, the first time I saw Inner
That's not
Nyos...
good. Should probably cut those elementals down before they take their little party straight to camp. Fallout from a bloodstone explosion. It looks like this one was controlled at least. Could have been a lot worse.
So if I'm not mistaken, this has been a source of some speculation for a lot of people. The fact that this bloodstone explosion was relatively limited in scope. Now, when we say limited in scope, it is worth noting that's a fairly large area. Is it as large as... where is it? Ah, here we go. I mean, you know what? It is actually. Look at that. That is actually about the same size. So the commander says it's localized, but truthfully, this map is just quite a bit bigger. That's actually about the same as Bloodstone Fen in terms of how the epicenter was affected.
Need to keep an eye on those things.
What?
That's not good. Should probably cut those elementals down before they take their little party straight to camp.
Commander, you need to calm down. I'm the one talking. And it was also a long, long time ago, right? So, much more recent. Bloodstone Fen was only a few years ago. The explosion here happened hundreds of years ago.
Long gone by the looks of it. But what were they doing here? Map shaping up. I should get back to camp and share what I saw.
Is that coincidental? Do I still see that guy from time to time, or does he specifically appear here or something? I think I just see him. I think I don't think I've gotten rid of him on this account. I think that was a crazy, crazy coincidence. I don't think... Man, but I wish I knew for sure, because that would be super weird. If that just like pops up here, if that's an indicator of something to come or something within the story. I really want this arch in my homestead. I think I already can get it, but we'll see. All right, let's head back and see what's next. We'll see whether it's the heart, or I think that she'll have another task for us. I don't think it's the heart quite yet, but we will see. See how people just hang out here? They do that a lot. They're waiting for events around this heart, because there's one here, that one there that we tried a minute ago, and one right here. So the best place to hang out, if you want this heart and just wait for events, is literally right here. There are a couple of others that tap in, like one happens like up here, another one happens back here. But really, it's best just to play the odds and hang out here for your events. And it feels awful. But it's truthfully the easiest way to do it. This event will happen like 3 times in like 50 minutes when it does spawn. At least from my experience. Grace by fire.
With a better understanding of the area, our chances for survival go up. Respect the Isle's boundaries, we must. Couple more things you could do to help around here, if you have breath to spare. To start, Whispers of Wind is looking into the stranger's light. Not a bad idea to work with her, see what all she needs. And for me? Well, information. I mentioned the wildlife before, and that has not improved. I suspect the stranger's influence, but we should confirm. See if there's anything we can do to help them. I need you to subdue the frenzied creatures and take a blood sample for me. Maybe there's a cure, or we'll know if there's not. Here, I've got the supplies set up for you.
Cool. Thanks. So I'm going to put that away for right now. It's like a little bow. Is that... I don't recognize the skin, but it's similar in design to like the staffs that some of the bears are running around with. So, whoops, I clicked that on it. So I'm wondering if that's the same design theme. Yeah, that was very convenient of the commander to hold it up for us like that. And if so, like, I'm interested to see if we can get that on it looks like probably a short bow. See if we can get that on a short bow also. So let's index sickly wildlife health in the slithering outskirts. Let's do that. If I remember right, that's just like along this coast right here. So it's not a big deal. Not a lot of travel. Super easy to do, truthfully. And then there's the heart. Slow the expanding creep of Titan Blight in Festering Basin. So we'll wrap this video once we do like the wildlife thing, and then I will do majority of the heart before the next video, and we'll resume the next video with the heart basically done, is how we'll go about that.
There we go. One step closer to the answers.
Alright, so I use the 1 skill to dart the animal. Look out, Raven, I'm coming. Bam. And then the 2 skill to examine. What does it actually say? Collect health data. So I've turned into like one of those volunteers that was giving everyone like COVID vaccine, whether they wanted it or not. Like, that's me now, man. Come to the mall, get your vaccine. Hell, the state's paying for it. What could possibly go wrong?
You'll be feeling that one for days.
Shoot that phone. Alright, we're about 50% done. I'll let my pet just deal with that. I'm going to continue to try to find more little ducks to shoot with a bow, because I find that immensely satisfying. Haha, a crab. Well, it's not a duck, but it'll do. Hey, it ran off. Oh, you know why? I bet this guy looked at it and then it ran off. Yep. See how after he does them, they... Alright, we will go the opposite direction as him then. Because otherwise, we're just going to make each other unhappy. Nobody wants that? There we go. Haha.
One step closer to the answers.
One step closer to the answers. Nice, a duck. Nothing more satisfying than shooting a duck with a bow. And, oh, we need... I thought we were halfway there. We are not halfway there. We need several more. Not terribly exciting, but better than doing a heart.
There we go.
Man, that bee is really like obsessed.
One step closer to the answers.
Alright, one more. Alright, oh, frog. Can you imagine this poor frog? Like, how big is this arrow? We don't actually see the arrow on the bow, but I hope it's a small arrow, because that frog is not big. Like, I feel like our vaccination arrow just, like, crushed that poor dude. Oh, yeah, see, there we go again. So it's just, you know, on this account, I haven't got rid of that dude. And apparently, first time I saw him today, he just happened to be right on top of a white mantle statue. It's kind of a trip. Okay. So we're going to wrap up the video here, because I am not going to force people to watch, like, me do this event, right? And this event, actually, we're going to finish this event real quick. Now, obviously, the more, like, moas we squish and meat we put into the box and the more pomegranates we put in the box, all of those things also raise the heart a tiny, tiny bit. So this is going to be a little bit deceptive that I'm coming in late at the event and saying, look, it barely did anything to advance the heart. But, like, if you're watching the heart right now as we do this, like, this is... Who is... I don't want to be melodramatic, but, like, ArenaNet employs these people. They give them money. That's crazy. That's really, really crazy. Because they're this bad at their job. They thought that that's how much the heart should move when you're doing this stuff. That shows that they're probably not qualified to do what they do.
That hurt? Time to do some real
hey, but you know what do I know? I'm only the customer. I'm only the one paying money. So maybe I don't know anything about it at all. All right, so the event's over. I can't even grab any more pomegranates. None of them are actionable. We can still action the MOA, but we can't turn in the meat. And I think there you go. So you see how much it jumped? So we're going to have to do this event 4 more times, or do other events. Like maybe this event will happen in a minute. We're going to have to do like 4 more events to complete the heart. I'm not going to subject that to you. You've seen what I wanted you to see. We will come back with the heart. In fact, I'll probably probably completely. I'll probably take my chances on dialogue happening immediately after completing the heart, and I'll go ahead and complete the heart. Just because I don't want to, subject you to that. That would be terrible, right? All right. I mean, it's bad enough I subject you to me running my mouth all the time. So, oh wait, Festering Basin. Oh, am I not even working on the right heart right now? No, I'm not even working on the right one anymore. So later we're gonna have to come around and do this one. So that's still helpful. But yeah, so I still got a whole heart to do over there, and that one is only almost as bad as this one, not quite as bad. So yeah, hooray for ArenaNet. That's at least an hour probably between those two hearts, maybe 45 minutes if I knock that other one over there out pretty quickly. Awesome. So thank you for hanging out with me. We are moving through the story. We got like 2 chapters left in terms of the chapter count up here. We met the Titans. We apparently defeated one, but we believe there's at least one more here in this region. So we're going to have to run that to ground. Poised Arrow was with us. Poised Arrow apparently did not have a good time. That is unfortunate for Poised Arrow. Feel bad for him. But we also found Waiting Star. That's actually what hit Poised Arrow hard. It wasn't the Titan, truthfully. It was discovering that Fading Aurora is in fact, so that's the village shaman that we met early on in the story, is in fact Waiting Sorrow. And now that we know that, we're not doing anything about it quite yet because we're going to allow Waiting Sorrow to continue to help us with our fight against the Titans, which the commander has portrayed as like really questionable decision making. And I'm not getting this vibe at all. I think overall this story is written pretty well, but that's one area where I think they dropped the ball a little bit, is they did not communicate effectively why the commander should care that much about Waiting Sorrow. Aside from Isgarin being like, Waiting Sorrow is a real hot mess. Like, all right, Isgarin. All right, so I'll let it go here. And when we come back, we will do hearts. Actually, the hearts will be done. And we'll continue to try and find out about this other Titan, and we'll try to reach some kind of resolution with Waiting Sorrow. So, thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you again soon.